How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to my channel. I know it's been over a year, about a year and 2 months since my last upload, but you know what? NHL 17 I just wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't feeling like recording or anything. I just want to take a break from everything, and I really don't know if I want to come back full on with a lot of content when NHL 18 comes out. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be if for one I have the time or if I'm just feeling it in terms of how the game is, but I thought that it'd be nice to at least upload a video since it's been over a year. So I thought, what better video to do than NHL 18 ratings? So I'm going to review all of the ratings, my opinions, in one video. The top 10 goalies, right wingers, left wingers, defensemen, and centermen, because I know they're all released now. And I know there's a new rating system. I know about that. And 85 plus is considered a first liner, and 82 to 85 second liner, and so on and so on. So I've heard there's some controversy on some of these ratings. So that should be interesting, to say the least. But you know what? With a new rating system, that's to be expected. There should, to me, I kind of like it how there's lower overalls. It makes more sense. When there was a bunch of people that were 90s, it's just weird because it's like that's not possible. Like the NHL there are the superstars, and then all of a sudden there were other players that were almost the same level as them, and it just kind of didn't really make any sense to me. So I welcome a new rating system. Hopefully, it will change the game for me, and maybe it'll bring me back into the fold to want to actually record franchise mode, as they call it now, which was GM mode, obviously. So hopefully this will make it better, and apparently they've made changes to make it more realistic and not as, painful to play. So hopefully that brings me back into the fold. But anyway, let's get right into it. So top 10 goalies. I kind of know who to expect for the top 10 goalies, like at least number 1 and number 2. So Cam Talbot coming in at number 10, 87 overall. Maybe part of the McDavid effect. He did have a good year, played a lot of games, 40 plus wins, I do believe. Okay, so that's interesting. That's good. Corey Crawford, 87. That's probably a good rating for him, I guess. I keep forgetting about the rating system. So 87 does seem low, but I guess that is a starting goalie. And Chicago has been eliminated in the first round the last 2 years, so I guess they kind of decided, let's, regress his ability a little bit. So I'm going to guess that all these goalies are hybrid, elite potential. Most of them are franchise. Number 8, Tuukka Rask. Okay, 88 overall. That's interesting. I'm kind of surprised Tuukka Rask is there, to be honest with you. I don't know his numbers per se, but you know what? He's a good goalie. He's a good goalie. I would have thought just because the Stanley Cups and that's how EA does things, it seems like with awards and all that or whatever. I would have thought Corey Crawford would have been maybe higher than Tuukka Rask just because of that. But all right, that's cool. Fine with that. Number 7, Devin Dubnyk. Fine with that. No problems here. Makes sense. He's a great goalie. Number 6, Henrik Lundqvist. Only an 88. Okay. I guess EA's taken into account this. Now 35 years old. Seems, you know how EA works. When they get older, their overalls get lower anyway, regardless. That's probably just for GM mode purposes as well, I would say. Number 4, or no, number 5. Number 5, Matt Murray, 88. That's a great little upgrade for him. I like that as a Penguins fan, and I like that for when if I ever play a Penguins GM mode, I'll be happy to have an 88 overall goalie. Back-to-back Stanley Cups, definitely deserves it. I like that. Carried the team part of the way after Fleury faltered. No problem there. Number 4, Corey Schneider. Interesting choice. 89. Finally got an increase in overall here. 89. You know what? Schneider, great goalie. Probably just because he plays on a bad team that a lot of people will say that's a bad rating. But yeah, okay, that I can understand that controversy. Why people might say, why is Lundqvist why is Lundqvist, they'll say, not ahead of Schneider or at least tied with him. I could see the controversy there. Number 3, Sergei Bobrovsky, 89. Okay, no problem there. Great regular season. Kind of sucks in the playoffs. 2-time Vezina trophy winner. Number 2, finally cracking the 90 rank. We got Braden Holtby. No surprise here. Honestly, no surprise. Number 1, Carey Price, 92. No surprise there. So the overalls, bit lower, especially on the goalies here. I'm fine with that. Looking great. Obviously, Carey Price, number 1, makes complete sense. No issues on this list at all, really. Just the Schneider thing I could understand why there's the controversy. Just because Lundqvist is lower than him. No Quick and no Rene on the list, so that's interesting. But you never know. Quick and Rene could both be 87. They just didn't crack the top 10. So just in terms of who they're putting there, whatever. Let's go to defensemen next. Read more. Let's go top 10 defensemen. Okay, top 10 defensemen. Number 10, Pietrangelo, 88. All right, no problem there. Roman Josi, 88 at number 9. Chris Letang, yes, okay, didn't play any of the playoffs and was hurt during the regular season, but I'm glad that still gets credibility for being a good defenseman. I'm liking that, 88. In the beta, he was an 87 for NHL 3s, and I do believe he was an 87 for the regular online game mode as well, so glad that he at least cracks the top 10. So I'm just looking to make sure. See, elite potential, they're all elite potential so far. Number 7, an overall crease, Shea Weber, 89. That's a better rating for Shea Weber. I thought he was rated pretty high in last year's game, NHL 17. Thought he was rated significantly high. So I like his decrease, but it's not too much, so that's good as well. Number 6, Ryan Suter, good defensive defenseman. Oh, last year Shea Weber was a defensive defenseman. Now he's a two-way defender. That's interesting. But I never noticed that until I saw Ryan Suter here, defensive defenseman. So 89 overall, not bad. Okay, Ryan Suter. I don't watch many Minnesota games, but I assume that he's definitely the best defender of Minnesota. I always used to think he's overrated I always thought the EA overrated him, but I really don't know. That's just my feeling, but I don't really have any evidence to back that up. So okay, 89 Ryan Suter. Crack in the 90 spot, Duncan Keith. Okay, makes sense. Chicago Blackhawks, of course. Plus Keith, really good defenseman, 2-time Norris Trophy winner. Number 4, 90 overall, Victor Hedman, no surprise here. No complaints here at all. Was really good in the playoffs last year when they played Pittsburgh. When they went all the way to the Eastern Conference Final, he was really good. Pretty good against Pittsburgh as well. A couple years ago, 2016. Number 3, Brent Burns, 90 overall. Okay. Again, no issues here. Almost a 30-goal scorer. Number 2, Drew Doughty, 91 overall. Okay, franchise defenseman there. It's the first time I'm seeing that. And number 1, Erik Karlsson, 91 overall, tied with Drew Doughty. But I assume that some of the, stars in here, some of the ratings, as you can see, kind of bump Karlsson up to a top-end 91, I guess you could say. So, really, people criticize Karlsson as being just the offensive guy and no defense, right? Offensive defenseman right here. But really, definitely deserving of the number 1 defenseman spot. He is the best defenseman. And it's not just points from that. We watched him help carry Ottawa to 1 shot away within the Stanley Cup final this year. So, honestly, no problems with this list either, really. I'm sure there's another defenseman or two that are like an 88 overall, and they just didn't crack this top 10. So let's move on to right wingers. I'd like to do some right wingers. All right. Number 10, Phil Kessel, 86 overall. All right. You know what? I would say, of course I'm biased, but Kessel, I would say give him an 87 just because 70 points in the regular season, point per game in the playoffs last 2 years. But you know what? I can understand the drop. His first year in Pittsburgh, the regular season, he only had, 50-something points, 60-something points. So I can understand the drop, but I like how they say Phil Kessel's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion with the Penguins and celebrate it while eating hot dogs out of the cup. Number 9, Patrick Laine, 86. Okay. Did score 36 goals, so, I mean, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'll agree with that, EA. That's fine. Patrick Laine, all right, 86. You can clearly see, like, an 86 is in the top 10. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is clearly, like, showing the overall decreases. Wayne Simmons, 86 overall, number 8 here. Back-to-back 30-goal scorer, I do believe, so nothing wrong with that. Number 7, 87 overall, Jakub Voracek, or Jakub Voracek, as I should say. I don't really know his season stats this year, but I would have thought that Wayne Simmons would have a better rating than Jakub Voracek just because Wayne Simmons, to me, is as well, back-to-back 30-goal years, I do believe Wayne Simmons had. I thought Jakub Voracek had an off year, so that's kind of shocking. Number 6, David Pastrnak, 87 overall, very deserving. No problem there. Number 5, Blake Wheeler, 87. Okay, no problem there. He's a pretty consistent player for the Jets. Number 4, Joe Pavelski, 88 overall. Sharks captain, yeah. He's had 40-goal seasons before, no problem here. Number 3, Nikita Kucherov, 89 overall. 40 goals this year, I do believe, just behind Crosby. So no problem there, especially on a Lightning team that was missing Stamkos and missed the playoffs. Number 2, Tarasenko, 90 overall. No problem there. NHL 17 cover athlete. 40-goal season before, right? Number 1, no surprise, Patrick Kane. No issues. No issues here. I'm glad that, yeah, I don't really know. Maybe. I guess I have one issue. You could argue that Tarasenko and Kane are like almost the same, so they could be both like 91 or whatever, but I guess because Kane, won that Art Ross Trophy and MVP last year, I guess they can kind of give him the boost, you know what I mean? So, overall, no problems really so far on the lists, really. I've had no issues. I mean, I can understand, like I said, the Schneider thing in the goalies, but so far, seems like there's no problems. So let's move on to left wingers. Left wingers. Okay, so number 10, an 85 overall Landeskog. 85, that's low for a top 10, but new ratings, right? So, interesting. Eric Stahl. I thought he was a center, more natural center, but 85 overall. He did have a good year in Minnesota for his first year. Why can't I scroll down? Oh, there we go. Number 8, 86 overall, Philip Forsberg. No problems there. Number 7, Artemi Panarin, only an 86. I would have thought he'd be like an 87 overall, something like that with these new ratings, but his offensive category is still wicked, but it's clearly his defense and physical that weigh that overall down. Number 6, Max Pacioretty, 87 overall. I would have thought that these two would be tied, but okay. Consistent 30-goal scorer, that's fine. It's the defensive category that must bump him up, as he is a power forward. Number 5, Johnny Gaudreau, 87 overall. No problem there. Number 4, Brad Marchand, 87 overall. No problem here. He was top 10 in points, maybe even top 5. I can't remember exactly, but definitely top 10. No problems there. Brad Marchand definitely deserves his overall increase and definitely deserves to be in this top 10. Number 3, Taylor Hall. Interesting choice. I like Taylor Hall as a player, but to be an 87 overall, I would have thought maybe he'd be an 86 just because injuries and, I wouldn't put him higher than Marchand or Gaudreau, honestly. But maybe, I mean, they are equal overalls, but like I said, it could be like the little things inside the overalls and the star system that make him just a little bit above. But I would say that Taylor Hall is probably below Marchand and Gaudreau, and maybe some of the other guys on the list too, maybe even Panarin. But, oh well, okay, that's interesting. Number 2, Jamie Benn, 90 overall. Wow, that's 3-point increase from number 3. That's quite big. Definitely deserves it, though. Jamie Benn, great player. Art Ross Trophy winner a couple years ago. No issue there. And number 1, Ovechkin, 92 overall. Kind of no surprise here that Ovechkin would still be number 1. Obviously, he's starting to regress more than a lot of other players. Like Crosby, of course this is biased, but I have the facts to back it up, the stats. Crosby is not regressing as much as Ovechkin is, but 92 overall, okay, well, Ovechkin still is the guy in terms of goal scoring, so, okay. Not many complaints here. I could see the Taylor Hall controversy, but 85, ooh, pretty low to be in top 10. Only thing I will say is, where's Jeff Skinner? A guy like Jeff Skinner, he's left winger, if I'm correct. 30-something goals this year. Don't know why he wouldn't be on this list. Maybe he's an 85 and he just didn't crack it, but I would think he would be an 86 or something too. But no Jeff Skinner. Interesting. Top 10 centers, the one that I am most interested in. Top 10 centers. Number 10, Jonathan Toews. Finally, a decrease for Jonathan Toews. I know I'm biased. Penguins, I'm not a fan of the Blackhawks, but Jonathan Toews should not have been ever like a 94 overall. I get the defensive side of it, but there's also an offensive side of the game. And stats aren't everything, I get it. But, come on. this is a better rating for Jonathan Toews, 89 overall. I can respect that. Number 9, Tyler Seguin, 89 overall. So clearly right away, we're seeing the centers are the highest overall in terms of players and player position. 89 overall, no problems here. Tyler Seguin. Number 8, Ryan Getzlaf, another 89 overall. No issue here. Great player. Kind of surprised that he's higher than Seguin. But again, that could just be the internal stats, that there's something different. I don't know. Number 7, Patrice Bergeron, 89 overall. Okay, yeah, no problem. Bergeron, great defensive forward. I like how he is rated higher than Toews. That's interesting. I would put them on the same playing field, but I mean, again, ratings is the same, but it could be some internals that make him higher. Number 6, 89, Nicholas Backstrom, no issue. Finally getting a 90 spot here. John Tavares at number 5. No problem here, elite talent, franchise player. No issue. Number 4, 91 overall, Steven Stamkos. Only played 17 games this year, I do believe. But 91, franchise player, 60-goal scorer, still deserving. Number 3, Evgeny Malkin, 92 overall, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion. Led the team in points in the playoffs this year. Point per game this year. He doesn't tend to miss a lot of time in the regular season, but that's okay. I'm happy with that, 92 overall. I'm satisfied with that. Number 2, Sidney Crosby, 93 overall, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, Conn Smythe. Ooh, of course, my number 1, Connor McDavid. My bias is coming out here, obviously. Crosby should be number 1. No question about that, but they're both 93, so I'm fine with that. I can deal with that. Both are 93. Give McDavid, like, a year or two, and he will be the number 1 player. Like, he would have a higher overall than Crosby, I would say. But right now, I would have put Crosby over it, but I mean, they're both 93, right? It could just be some internal stats. I mean, Crosby's 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4.5. 5, 5, 5, 4.5, 5, 4. So I don't understand why McDavid would be considered higher. I mean, this is 5 stars and then a 4.5, and this has 4.5 and 4. But again, it could be McDavid's offensive stats are like really boosted compared to Crosby's on some of them here, like his senses or something like that. I honestly don't really know. I mean, maybe EA just did that. They're actually like pretty much equal. I mean, if you look at the internals, they're a little different, but you could say that for any player. But maybe EA did this to create some controversy, in the comments of their tweet or wherever when they tweet this out, like, come check it out, I mean, McDavid did have 100 points this year, did lead the league in points, so I can understand why he's ranked number 1, but I'm just happy at least they're tied. If McDavid had have been like a 94 here, or Crosby had have been a 92 like Malkin, I would have been very upset, and I probably, when I get the game, would have increased Crosby's overall to be higher than McDavid's or the same level, so at least they're the same level. I'm fine with that. I can live with that, but it's just so weird to not see Crosby ranked number 1 on an EA Sports list just because it's been so many years. So at least they're both technically number 1. I mean, I'll have to do more analysis into the internals, but overall that's probably the only thing that triggers me, but that's because I'm a Penguins fan, so it's kind of to be expected. But anyway, interesting overalls for NHL 18. I like the new rating system in terms of how, it's not going to be a team full of like 86, 87 plus overalls for a franchise, right? Like in franchise modes, that's nice. Make it more interesting, make it more competitive. Hopefully the AI isn't so hard to defeat sometimes. Like if they have a shitty team and they still beat you, right? We've run into that a couple times in my old GM modes where a team has like an 80 overall goalie and we still can't kick their ass, right? So, and they have like a mediocre team around the goalie, right? So hopefully they fix that in franchise mode and everything, and these overalls will hopefully affect that and make a difference. So we can hope, but then again, it is EA, so you never know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching and sticking with the channel. I know it's been a long time, but thank you for watching, and let me know your opinions on the ratings in the comment section below. And yeah, I got nothing else to say, but and don't call me out for saying that. I know I'm gonna get the comment. Someone's gonna say you're biased for saying Crosby's not number one, but of course I am. I want him to be number one. He's the best in my mind, and he always will be. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and sticking with the channel, like I just said. And again, comment below what you think. Overall, I'm fine with these ratings. I can understand the controversy on some of them, though. So, thank you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.